Whoever joins us, they're just gonna have to. Whoever joins us, they're just gonna have to jump on board as we go. Because, like I said, I want to get back to the things I was doing, but I did want to make myself available. If you're just joining on, um, say hello, give me a shout out. All right, so let's jump into it today. Like I said, we are going to. I'm not going to really teach you a lesson today. We're going to do more of a Q&A session. Like I said, I gathered 8 questions from some of the subscribers emailed me, and I put them together, and I'm going to go ahead and answer them out loud so that everyone can have access to that information. And by the way, hey, Country 1259. By the way, if you guys are out there and you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, leave a message. If you leave a comment, then I will be happy to answer your questions for you. So, like I said, these are some of the questions. I have about, I don't know, 50 questions. So these are the first 8. But before we get started, I was listening to a podcast the other day with Lewis Howes and Grant Cardone. I want to share just a little quick message with you to kind of like get the tone going for today. So take a look at this.
Today needs to be, the thing about knowledge is power. And that's why I loved your audience the other night so much because, they want the right knowledge, not any knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of people listening online, you'll go for any knowledge. All knowledge is not created equal. Some of it's garbage, okay? And that garbage can hold you down. And so I think your question was, what would I do if I came back? Man, I want to come back with the right data, number one. I want to come back with the right information that says, bro, go get rich. Like, what if that was the battle cry from the beginning? Go find a vehicle that will make you super rich so you could actually make a super difference because you're not doing it without money.
Hey, Jada, welcome. Yeah, so I thought that message was so fitting um, for today to get us started. And so that's kind of how I want to start the day off today. Hey, I just want to kind of get the day started off and with that message. And so before we get into the Q&A, anyone who knows me, like I said, about on October the 28th, I know everyone out there remembers that Puerto Rico contract for 300 million. And when I spoke, I was very, to anyone that heard me speaking, I was very public about the fact that I actually supported the $300 million contract. I was in favor of it because, from my perspective, the government is spending $1.2 billion a day. And so that was just like a little, like a blimp in terms of the grand scheme of the amount of contracts available. And so I wanted to share something with you guys. A few days ago, I showed you, or I think it was last week on one of my episodes, I showed you the amount of contract spending and what they were spending. So I did the same thing today, and I want to go ahead and walk you through that. Bridget, I will not be available Tuesday. I'm going to be in Puerto Rico, so I don't know what the signal's like or service. I won't be available this upcoming Tuesday or Thursday. I'm leaving for Puerto Rico for 8 days on Sunday. So, but yeah, guys. So I wanted to show you, just to give you a perspective of the size of contract spending in the federal arena. Let's jump over here and let me show you what we're talking about. And the reason why I couldn't even put it in a slide presentation because it was so much. So take a look at the first thing on there. This by the way was yesterday. Today's the 23rd. This was yesterday's list of Department of Defense contract spending in excess of $7 million. And if you take a look at the very first contract, this Lewis Berger Group, they were awarded a contract for $860 million to support temporary power for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. And if you look at the third and fourth line item, it says that there were 2 bids received. Now, why didn't this make the news? Has anyone heard of this? It's not on CNN, it's not on MSNBC, because it's not a political issue. This is what our government does every day. And so for me, they'll take some contracts like the one that was awarded to those companies for 300 million, and they'll turn it into something political. But we're not here to talk about politics. We're only here to talk about making money. And so I just want to give you guys an idea. Let's just scroll down and take a look at some of these contract awards. This company is awarded $22 million to provide service intelligence over in Korea. This other contract, $10 million to a company out of Indiana. Look what it says. The Libby Corporation says bids were solicited via the internet with only one bid received. All right. Scroll down to the Navy, BAE Systems. They were awarded a contract for $75 million dollars, to be done in New Hampshire, L3, $19 million dollars. Huntington, over in Virginia, $8 million dollars. Lockheed Martin, $22 million dollars contract. Verico, out of Alfredo, Georgia, $19 million dollars contract. Scrolling down, General Dynamics, $9.5 million dollars. Raytheon, $59 million dollars. Elta, $39 million dollars. By the way, look at Elta's company. It says the last line, this contract was a sole source acquisition. That means they gave it to them without any other competition, any other bids. They just gave them that contract for $39 million dollars. General Dynamics, $14 million dollars. Peckman, $11 million dollars. It was a mandatory acquisition with only one response received. EFW, $7 million dollars. M&M Manufacturing, $7 million dollars. So what I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen, is that when we take a look and we understand. Thanks, Britta. When we look at the magnitude, we look at the scale of these contracts and these awards. I mean, it's for everyone. It's available, and so I just wanted to kind of warm you guys up with that and let you know that again, don't look at just the isolated incident. Remember, we're doing stuff all over the world. It's called OCONUS. We're doing CONUS work, which is within the continental United States, and OCONUS work, which is outside the continental United States. So again, they're doing 4 million transactions a year, a little over 100,000 transactions a month. So we are spending money every single day to support our government and support other nations around. Let's go ahead. I'm going to one more clip from the Lewis House and Grant Cardone before we jump into the question session.
One of the best things I've ever done in my whole life was learn to get great at something you hate.
Why?
Because if you can't do the things you hate, dude, every day you and I are required to do something we hate. Mm-hmm. That wall right there, the School of Greatness wall, that wall is full of people that did. That's when I see them, I'm like, I wonder how many things they did they didn't want to do.
To get them where they're at, though.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I do things every single day I don't want to do.
What are the main things?
Sometimes it's waking up. I'm like, God damn,
you love sleep.
I just want to sleep, man. I'd like to sleep in for another hour today.
Yeah.
Sometimes, different things. I don't like traveling across the country to go speak. I'd much rather be like, whatever that what is it they do on
transported.
Yeah, I want to be just like instantly transported. There's a lot of things I don't like making sales.
Okay, so the message there was to get great at something that you don't like. People may not know this, but I actually don't like construction. It's not my forte. The people are very aggressive, and it's really a lot. I find a lot of people are angry out there, but because it's a means to an end, I do it, and I do fairly well at it. So but again, you got to get great at something that you don't like. And so again, today when we are going out and I'm answering some of these questions, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, is doing the activities that they're not necessarily fun, but they're going to get you to your end result. They're going to get you to the end game. Hey, Lysandra, welcome. Thank you for being here today as well. All right, so let's go ahead and let's jump into our first question of the day. And by the way, again, this is always interactive, so if you guys have anything, let me know. You can send me a message over in the live chat. And if you're just joining, make sure to let me know you're here and present. All right. So the first question is actually a comment that leads into a question. Since I just watched your video from January, how choosing the right NAICS code could cost you millions, and I subscribe to your channel. First, I can tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a new startup company. I'm registered with my Secretary of State. I received my DUNS number today. I should hear back from the bank regarding my business checking. I'm a service disabled veteran. I want to complete the service disabled veteran verification process and in 2 years apply for 8A in HubZone. I registered as a service company so that I could bid in different service categories. I'm interested in commercial cleaning, security, networking, industrial coding. My PTAC, my Procurement Technical Assistance Center, will be providing assistance, but at a slow pace. I was hoping that you could answer a few questions for me. And so that's kind of how we started off. The first question he asked, and this is Vernon, am I limited to primary and secondary NAICS codes? If so, can I still pursue contracts in other fields I'm interested in? The answer is no. You are not limited to primary and secondary NAICS codes. Remember, your primary NAICS code determines your size, right? So remember, when you're looking at choosing the NAICS code, your primary NAICS code is going to determine the, whether or not you're a small business and where do you cap out at. And that goes back to looking at the standards chart. So again, you want to choose a primary NAICS code that gives you the greatest opportunity to grow within your business, but it does not prevent you from having other NAICS codes. So you can have as many NAICS codes and as many categories as you like, but the primary one is the one that, like I said, limits or determines your size standard. Okay. Second question. If I'm limited to primary NAICS codes, I would choose commercial cleaning security. How should I list that to maximize my income potential? All right, again, so like I said, when you're looking at the NAICS codes, you want to choose when it goes back to the size standards tables. If you don't know what the size standards tables are, you can go to my website, scorecontracts.com/resources. I've got it on there, but you can also Google it. It's called size standards tables, right? So it's like the size and then their standard table. The SBA has it on their website. I've got it on my website under the resources pages. And you download it, and all it does is it lists the NAICS codes. And then once it lists the NAICS codes, then you'll see right away to the right-hand side what the size standards are for that applicable NAICS code. And then once you see which one has the highest size standard, that's the one that I would tell you, that's the one that again, I don't want to give advice. That's the one that if it was me doing it, I would choose as my primary NAICS code, the ones that give me the greatest potential for success. All right, we have a question from Jose. What is your recommendation if I have a service disabled veteran certification to go out and get a mentor and recommend another contractor in HVAC or a general contractor? I'm trying to understand the question. What is your recommendation if you have a service disabled veteran certification to go out and get a mentor? You recommend another contractor, HVAC, or a general contractor? Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, so if you were, okay, Jose. Again, so if you're a service disabled veteran, I would definitely recommend as a mentor, I would recommend getting a contractor. Again, remember, if we're going to look at getting mentors, you want to get the biggest company possible. So whether that's an AC company or GC company, it doesn't really matter. Just whoever you can get access to. I mean, the biggest company possible. You said, where would you find them? Okay, Jose, if you watch the video that I did on Tuesday, I actually answered that question of where to find those mentors at. So go back and watch Tuesday's clip, and I can answer that question. How does multiple NAICS codes? I guess I'm not. Let me move my little chat over. I'm missing some of it's being cut off. Hold on. Sorry. I guess I have my window too far. I'm not home, so I'm using my laptop, and so my screen's size is smaller than normal than my PC. All right. So Lashondra asked a question for all of you watching out there. How does multiple NAICS codes affect your capability statements? It doesn't. If you look at my capability statements, and if you just Google capability statements, everyone has multiple NAICS codes in their capability statements. I've never seen a capability statement with only one NAICS code on it. All right. Question number 3. Hi, can you help me out with determining a small business cap for NAICS code? Timothy. All right, same thing. Small business cap for NAICS codes. Go to the size standards tables. When you go to the size standard table chart, you'll see it'll tell you exactly what the cap is for that NAICS code. Very easy to do. Just download it from my website, scorecontracts/resources, and size standards table is right there. All right, that's super easy. All right, number 4. I just started my business and registered on FBO, that's FedBizOps, as a vendor. Is there any small business certifications for a one-man show with no disability or 8A or woman-owned business, Jeff? All right. Hold on one second. Let me go back. I got a question that came in the chat. Zara says, what are NAICS codes? Unfortunately, Zara, that question, I've got videos on NAICS codes that I already produced. So just go back and look up my video on NAICS codes and it'll explain it to you. But they're essentially they're the way that you classify the product or service that you want to provide to the government. Is my short answer for that. But yeah, I have videos on NAICS codes. Just go back and watch it. It's already there. The information is there. All right, so getting back to question number 4, just start out my business. I registered FBO. Is there any small business certification for a one-man show with no disability or aid or woman-owned? Okay, people. Like I said, so there are, in terms of a one-man show, um, the small business certifications. When you look at it, they don't. There's no. The only one that had, well, no, not even HubZone. All of them, essentially, you could be a one-man show. But what happens is, if you're looking at, like, for example, 8A, they want to know if you're likely to succeed, right? So if you're a one-man show, you may get denied on the fact that your business doesn't have the potential for success, because that's a criteria. So it's the one-man show. It's not necessarily will disqualify you, but you won't have. It may prevent someone from approving your application due to the fact that you can't demonstrate the potential for success. Women-owned business, it doesn't really matter. Thank you, Lashana, for helping out on that particular topic. Women-owned business, that's irrelevant. You could be one man. Service disabled veteran, you could be a one man, and then regular small business, you could be a one man show. By the way, since I get a lot of questions on that, I'm working on actually a program to teach people about small business programs, and I'm creating a webinar. Actually, in fact, I've already created it. So if you want, you can go to my website, scorecontracts.com/resources, click on that Small Business Mastery webinar, and just sign up. And if I get enough people that are actually interested, then we could go ahead and make this a real thing. Also, if you're on my email subscription list, you'll know that I already asked those questions on there for people. What do they want to learn? What more lessons they want me to teach? And so I'm asking those questions. If you could provide your feedback, that's also very helpful. All right, so just go to my website, click on Small Business Mastery, and sign up. And that's a separate list from the actual course that we're learning, and a separate list from the subscription. This is for people who just want to learn about the small business programs, how they work, how they operate, what are the requirements, and then we actually can walk you through what they look like. Before you go out and decide to hire a consultant or pay someone to get you certified, why don't you learn about what they are first and try to get a feel and understanding on how these different programs work. And that's what Small Business Mastery webinar will do for you. Okay. Question number 5. Today I was sourcing a company as a potential supplier, but I was told that they could sell product to me, but I was unable to resell to the government due to them having a GSA contract. Is that valid? Thanks, Shannon. Yes, that actually is valid. There are some companies, certain products that they are already selling to the government. So yeah, if they're on a GSA contract, if they already have a contract with the government, that may preclude them from reselling that product to you, and that's a valid issue. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's their obligation. Some companies, again, there are companies out there. Remember, hey guys, we're all new to this game, but there are people they've been doing this for 20 years and 30 years and 40 years. So there's some companies that have already taken the leap. They've already made the effort to go out and provide their products to the government. And that's perfectly okay. But there's thousands of other companies who haven't. There's thousands of other products that are available that you can resell to the government. So don't worry about that one particular item. All right. Question number 6. I did not receive an email from the GovCon Giants training program chaining me. This is a question that I literally receive every single day. It's funny because once you sign up for my GovCon Giants training program, my free 12-day course teaching you how to win contracts like Boeing over the next 60 and 90 days, once you sign up for my course, you'll get an email received, right? And then the course, you will receive one email per day for 12 consecutive days. The very first email that I send you explains, make sure you add me to your safe senders list. Because a lot of times what will happen is the emails, trust me, they go out, because right now I think there's over 180 people who have gone through the course, and maybe close to 200 at this point. So the emails are going out to you, but they end up in your spam folder, your junk folder, or your promotions folder. So when you're looking at, just make sure you look at in your spam folder, your junk mail, or promotions is where they end up at. But you trust me, they're going out. And before you send me an email, before you make a complaint, just check to see if they're in there. And I state that in the very first email, but it looks like people are not reading through it carefully enough. So I just want to reiterate that today, in today's message. Question number 7. I have followed the steps and called companies that have contracts to see if they are considering subcontracting and they are choosing to hire employees. Is it mandatory that they hire subcontractors? I felt like I said that kind of fast. So this person, Jazzy, asked. She said she was following my steps because you know what I teach you, to go out and call companies, like I demonstrated my $1.6 million FBO example a few weeks ago. So I tell you to call on companies to see if they want a subcontract. She says they choose to hire employees. Is it mandatory? No, it's not mandatory that anyone hires a subcontractor. But what you'll find is that the larger companies, they're the ones that are likely to hire subcontractors. So what I suspect is she's probably calling on smaller companies and smaller contracts, and those persons are actually hiring people, because when you're dealing with companies that do 100 million and 200 million dollars, or even if 30 million or 40 million dollars, those companies, when they're getting these contracts, they're not ramping up their staff to do them, because this is only one job. And so if as a business person, when you're looking at, hey, I got one contract to do this one time, this is a one-time thing, you're not going to go out and hire a bunch of people for that. So keep that in mind when you're calling on people. If you're calling on the smaller firms, that, for example, if you're calling on an AC company, then yeah, if they get a larger AC job, they may hire more AC technicians because they're an AC company and that's their business. But if you look at some of the examples that I've done, where you get a general contractor, that the general contractor, that person wins a project that does, say, a chiller replacement or does flooring, and that's not what their specialty, then they're more likely to hire you. Or if they get a job that requires 10 different trades, then they're more likely to hire subcontractors. They're not going to hire employees to cover 10 different trades. So just keep that in mind, people, when you're out there and you're making calls and you're trying to solicit work from recent award winners, like I tell you in my 12-day course. There's a difference between calling on the smaller companies and the larger firms. You want to, and again, it's a trial and error. I'm actually happy that you're doing the activities, so that at least you can learn and you can get the experience, and then you come back and ask me so we can clarify some of the things, because I know that it's very difficult to explain in, say, 15 videos or 20 videos exactly step by step every single aspect of the task, right? And so that's why I need your feedback. That's why we're doing these chats. That's why we're doing these videos. That's why we're doing the training, so that you guys can help me to make it more concise, more thorough, and more descriptive, so that it can be that step-by-step manual to help you go out and actually tackle your contracts. By the way, I see a lot of people are actually on, but no one's saying hi. So say hi. Make sure you let me know you're here. Say hi. All right, question number 8. Is it difficult? Hold on. Sorry, that question kind of threw me off. Is it difficult to self-register in SAMS and veteran verification? If not, there's a list of documents needed before I begin. Vernon. Again, if you guys go back, and I know we've got a lot of new people here from the Advise show, and again, I know, and I'm okay with answering the same repetitively, but just make sure you go back and look at my videos, some of my previous videos. They're usually labeled the things that you're going to ask, right? Because I already have an idea of some of the initial steps that people need to take to get started in winning government contracts. So go back and look. I have a video on SAM's registration. I actually have 3 video series on SAM's registration, and the answer is no, it's not difficult at all. Try it at least. Go through the exercise of attempting to register yourself in SAM. Most of the people in my GovCon Giants private Facebook group, I would say like 95% of them did it on their own. So no, it's not difficult. All you do is you're answering questions about your business, which in actuality no one can answer for you, right? Because it's your business. I mean, if you're a felon, if you've committed some sort of crime. Hey, Chief Designs, welcome. You know the things that you've done and you haven't done. So really, truthfully, you're the best possible person to complete your SAM registration, not some third-party service or company that's going to charge you $600 or $1,000 or $3,000. So, and also, I like to say this: unless unless you don't have the time to do it, which I find that difficult to believe because you're serious about doing government contracts. But let's say you know you don't have the time to do it. Unless if that's the reason, you really should go through the exercise of attempting to do that because, like I said on Tuesday, if you do not, if you can't get past something like SAM registration, I mean, not saying that it's easy, but it's easy because it's possible. But if you can't, what about the other activities that you're going to have to do beyond that? Because there's a lot more activities to do to win contracts besides SAM registration. And by the way, being registered in SAM, if you're not registered in SAM, does not preclude you from getting contracts. You can get contracts and not be registered in SAM as a subcontractor, right? So as a subcontractor, no one requires you to be registered in SAM to get contracts. So that's not even a prerequisite to winning contracts at all. Especially if you listen to the way that my programs and how I teach people to work as a sub, to build your past performance, to build your history, to get experience and learning how to do this stuff so that it prepares you to become a prime. So the only reason that you would even register in SAM is to get access to certain areas in FedBiz Ops that if you're not a registered person, you would not you would not have access to certain like I won't say secret, but like certain more high I guess it would be more secret. It'd be more like I guess it would be more secret type information that they don't want to just put out there to any and everyone. So that would be one of the reasons we're registering in SAM. But to get a contract, you don't have to be registered in SAM. So don't let that prevent you from learning about the federal arena and how this works. All right. And by the way, so for the veteran verification, I'm sorry. Again, like I told you guys, go back and if anyone missed it, sign up. Go to scorecontracts.com/resources. Sign up for Small Business Mastery. I also made a video on doing the veteran verification because I actually took and did it for my brother and I recorded myself doing it. So I have a video that I made a few weeks ago. Again, I'm behind schedule on uploading all this stuff, but I do have a video on that. So if you just stay interested, stay around. I have a video where I actually walk you through doing the vet biz registration. But again, that's very simple. And if you have an LLC, I think there's 2 documents you need. It's your resume and like your business information. So it's super simple. All right. All right. Now let's see. We have a question. By the way, that was number 8. So that was the end of the questions that I got today. Someone has a question that says, "Hey Jamil, welcome. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone that's just joining us now on the line. I come from nutrition, health, and fitness background. Know very little about government contracts. Will I need to develop new skills to pursue government contracts? Oh, definitely. You know, if you are, I tell people this: if you're successful in business, or if you have a business already, let's say you have a brick and mortar business, or you've been in business, then doing government contracts, it's the same thing essentially. You're just working with different clients. But if you come from, let's say, when I say nutrition, health, fitness, I think about personal trainers, then yeah, that's a different skill set to learn how to do government contracts than someone who actually was having a business ran. I mean, no place like New York. Do you have a business, or are you just a trainer? I would need specifics to be able to really answer that question. All right. Anybody else? I intentionally only put 8 questions up there because I didn't want to keep everyone too long away from their families. I just want to make myself available in case people did have questions. So my idea was not to spend a lot of time today talking, unless someone had any specific questions they want to answer. Anybody? What format do you recommend in proposals to win contracts? So most of the time, the government's going to give you. They operate on a standard format, so you won't have to worry about proposals at this stage where you're at. When you're bidding like standard RFPs and stuff off the government website, off FBO, you don't have to worry about the formats because it's a standard forms that they give. So that won't be that's a non-issue. All right, yeah, personal trainer for a few years. Right, exactly. Yeah, so yeah. But I mean, even as a personal trainer, listen, I started off in real estate. Okay, see, I was an actual realtor, a resale realtor, and I did real estate for a few years. I did it for about, I think, 5 or 6 years, and then I actually, with zero experience, transitioned as a became a licensed contractor, and I knew nothing about being a licensed contractor, and then my first partner introduced me to the world of government contracting, and he didn't know how to do it. He just knew about the possibilities. Same thing that I'm telling you. He knew the possibilities and the size and the magnitude, and if you listen to any successful person, if you listen to any of these millionaires and billionaires on TV, they say choose an industry, an area that has like unlimited potential. And in my opinion, the federal sector has unlimited potential. So, was it worth spending the time and effort to learn it? Yeah, of course. And if you missed in the beginning, um, for all you guys that missed in the very beginning, I showed you a list of all the contracts that came out just yesterday. And when we look at that, um, let me see if I can scroll back up to it. Oops, sorry. If we look at that list of contracts in the beginning, I mean, we're talking about. Let's just do the. I mean, if we do the math on this stuff, 860 million. That's almost $1 billion. You add another 22 million, 10, so that's 32 million, another 30. So you got 60 million plus 860. I mean, that's 920, right? Coming here, another 75 million, 19. I mean, this is several $billion that was spent just yesterday in contracts. Country 1259. I have a small used auto sales business. Is there any openings in government contracts for my field? So actually, the government buys everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. There's no exceptions. There's zero exceptions. They buy every single thing. Now, I don't know if they buy used cars, but they buy cars. So if you're in the auto sales business, the government puts out contracts to purchase vehicles all the time. I mean, that is a huge opportunity for people because they're constantly purchasing vehicles to add to their fleet, right? So they, as we all know, um, they depreciate all of their equipment and stuff, and regardless of whether it's old or not, once it's depreciated out its value to zero, then they get rid of it and they buy new inventory. So yeah, I mean, if you know auto sales, then you may know. Now I don't know how that works in the government, but if you know auto sales, you may have an understanding of how to read or one of the RFPs regarding the actual the cars and how they resell cars to the government. I don't know how that works, but you would have more insight than I would in providing those things to the government. Also, if you do auto sales, what about all of the parts and components that they need to repair these things? I mean, they're buying parts, they're buying components to need to make repairs to the existing stuff. So, I mean, so that exists there. Okay, so Lysandra says, I understand the step of reaching out to primes for sub opportunities. What other options available subs to win contracts? Well, so there's multiple ways that subs can win contracts. Besides reaching out to primes, you could, uh, I talk a lot about that in the GovCon Giants course, and so I would, there, you could partner with other small businesses, right? So you can partner with other companies that have 8A and have different programs. That's one of the ways that you can win contracts. You can go directly to meeting with the Ostabu person. That's an option available to you. So I mean, I would say I would look at for me, I would say partnering with another company to work on an opportunity. That would be probably the second best way I would recommend to do that. Hold on, let me. I don't know why it hid that your note. I'm going to show it. So yeah, so her question was, I'm sorry I didn't repeat that. I understand the steps for reaching out to primes for sub opportunities. What options are available other for subs to win contracts? So yeah, I teach you to solicit the prime contractors as a sub to win contracts. But the second way would be to work with other small businesses, right? There are other companies that have these certifications. Work with them, right? So if again, remember the federal government and they want joint. They want a team. And so if you work as a team and you say, look, as a team, we're stronger to pursue this opportunity, then you can leverage someone else's certification. And that's what I would do. And I've done it before. And I talk about that in different places already where, we had a contract down in Homestead and it was a hub zone opportunity. And so we didn't have hub zone certification. And what we did was we found a company that had the hub zone certification and we used that person's certification to land the contract. So, work with somebody, find someone that has access, find someone that has a certification. And you know how you do that? You start going to some of these national events. You go to some of these events, you start participating in events that are specifically involve federal contracts. And once you go to a couple of these events, you'll start meeting other people and that person will have some of the pieces, you'll have some of the pieces, and then you put it together. Kind of like what I said in Tuesday, we have some people in the Facebook group that I matched because I knew one person had family over in Africa and the other person had access to capital over in Africa, and I matched the two together. And that's the same thing. So if you have a real business that you can perform tasks for, then you take that and you go match it with someone. I mean, there's other people that have certifications that don't have a business or don't have a solid business. All right, Jamil, can you speak to the differences between doing a joint venture teaming and a mentor protege, and maybe an example of using all three? Okay, so I actually I'll talk briefly on that, but that requires a whole lesson. That's a lesson in itself, and I did a video on that before. So his question is, what's the difference between a joint venture teaming agreement and a mentor protege, and maybe an example of using all three? All right, so a teaming agreement is non-formal. So a teaming agreement is formal between the two parties, but it doesn't require government approval to do. So that means, say myself and one of you out there wants to work together on a project, we sign a team agreement, we sign a contract that says we're going to work together to actually pursue this project. A joint venture must be approved by the government or the SBA at the federal level, or the Army Corps, or whoever you're working for. That has to be actually approved by the government before you can actually be an official joint venture. And then a mentor protege is an arrangement that again also has to be approved, where you and that company agrees to be your mentor, you agree to be the protege, and there's documentation that goes along with it that says essentially what services they're going to provide to you, what things that you expect, lessons they're going to teach you. So for example, let's say they're going to help teach you, because they're supposed to be mentoring you, right? So they're going to help teach you about, let's say, increasing your bonding. They're going to help teach you about marketing your business. They're going to help teach you about how to price jobs and things of that nature. So that's where the mentor protege place comes into. It's another formal arrangement that must be approved by the government, and you have to outline the actual activities that they're going to be working on together in terms of what they will be teaching you. All right, but again, like I said, that's the short answer. It does require that question would require an entire presentation to answer it completely. Supplier diversity programs offered by big manufacturing, is that a way for manufacturers to obtain set-aside contracts for small business? So supplier diversity programs, again, remember, blah, we talk about federal contracts. Supplier diversity programs typically apply to private industries. So, I mean, if you're a manufacturer, there's set-aside contracts for manufacturers. I don't understand. So you're saying your question is small business programs offered by big manufacturer. Again, the long and short is there are every type of contract. Remember this: the government's goals are to spend 23% of their monies with small businesses. So that's 23 cents on every dollar. So that includes every area. That includes manufacturing. That includes products. That includes services. That encompasses all aspects of contracting. Sorry to you, Flame, you didn't get notification. Yeah, I didn't send out an email today. Sorry, guys. I thought if you're subscribed on my channel, and you put show notifications, YouTube is supposed to send them out. I know my niece, she showed me today on her phone where it had the notifications and she was receiving them. So I just assumed that everyone who was subscribed to me would get the notifications as well. I did in advance make sure I put on there that I was doing a training today. So, but yeah, if you didn't hear, next week I'm going to be in Puerto Rico. I'm going to be from Sunday to the following Monday. So I'm not going to be on next Tuesday and Thursday. What I will do in the interim, I will try to do one of two things. I'm going to try and release probably a couple new videos next week so you guys can have some content, or I'll do another Q&A session, but I'll tape it offline and then I'll just post it to YouTube. That way you guys have some information, you have some content for the week. Yeah, have fun in Puerto Rico. Yeah, I don't know how much fun we're gonna have in Puerto Rico. I spoke to someone today. They had some flooding over there this week already. The internet service is bad. The phone service is bad. So I don't. We're gonna be. I mean, I'm volunteering, right? So we're gonna be fixing roofs and helping the people out there. And so we're gonna be doing humanitarian efforts. So. All right, Blossom, what's a good way to approach suppliers for trade agreements as script? Yeah, well, I'm working on that, and the next uh, GovCon Giants program that I create, the next level, the next interim phase of it, I'll be working on putting scripts together for everyone, because I do understand that people want scripts. In order to, when they're soliciting people, when you're talking to the Ostabu, when you're calling upon suppliers and stuff, I know people that would help you to have some scripts available. So, okay, 6:45. Anybody? Okay. All right, great. To you, Flame. No, yeah, you can watch from the beginning. In the beginning of today, I had some good stuff on there. I shared some other stuff. Okay. Anybody else? It's 45 minutes, 26 seconds. Anything? Okay. All right, guys, listen. Well, hey, thanks. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your Black Friday tomorrow for all you guys out there spending money and shopping. I don't do those things anymore. I'd rather save my money and work on developing my business. But hey, I'm not. If you guys want to do that and you're out there standing in those long lines at Walmart and Best Buy, is Best Buy still around anymore? Whatever stores you're at, I buy all my stuff off of Amazon. So if you guys are out there, hey, thanks for watching today. And like I said, I'll see you a week from Tuesday's date. All right, thanks, guys.